Good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn them notifications on. So you join me here today on a gorgeous, well, might have missed the memo. It's not a gorgeous day, it's raining again. Date today is the 3rd of March, Thursday the 3rd of March. It's been a couple of weeks since I recorded anything. No real reason for that, just because everything we've sort of been doing, it's not really been that interesting to record. So today, a few jobs to do this morning. Got to bring in another bale of straw for these young cattle here. Also a bale of hay. So we've got 160 round bales of hay under the barn that we made last summer. We had that much grass that we didn't know what to do with it, so we made some haylage, we made some hay as well. Main reason we didn't make all haylage is because we didn't want to be paying for all the plastic wrap, because it's very expensive. And this year we probably won't make any because plastic wrap is extremely expensive. But I'm going to get a bale of hay to go there. So these are the Herefords in this shed that we were feeding with the bales of haylage. Now we're down to about 25 of them. So we're kind of just in the process of slowly changing their diet, so that basically in our silage clamp down the sides of the walls, the silage isn't quite as good quality, and that's mainly because the side sheets have worn out and there's a little bit of air getting there. So what we've been doing is bringing the side blocks of silage around here for these Herefords here, and then making sure that all the silage the cows are getting is the best silage they can get, because what we don't want is some not quite so good silage going down the barrier, because that way the milk drops. So these, unfortunately for them, are having the rough end of the stick, but it's good enough for them to eat. So what we're doing with that is we're feeding haylage down the barrier here, and then haylage in the ring depending on how much silage we can get. But today these have had silage for a couple of days, so my plan is a little bit of hay up the barrier there. So if this silage, which it isn't, but hey ho, is a little bit on the wetter side, what I don't want is it loosening their guts, because we don't want them sort of getting upset stomachs from this and whatever. So I'm planning on putting some hay at the end there, and that's basically because it's as dry, it's really dry. So if that's a bit wetter, they'll be getting the dry from the hay and kind of balancing the diet that way a little bit. Not too much of a concern, because these have always got straw under them anyway, so if they want that roughage and that dry matter, they'll usually get it from the straw. But we've got 160 bales of hay to use. I am trying to sell some of it, but people seem to like to try and beg it off you. Oh, diesel's going up, so you know, can you do it for this price? Diesel's gone up for us as well, so no, the price is what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna head out in the rain, get the JCB, get a couple of bales in here, and well, we'll see what the rest of the day brings. Well, I know one thing it's bringing: wet. Right, so we just grab ourselves a bale of straw from under the barn here. Whether this has been shown before, but basically the barn's fuller than it was. So last week we went and fetched about 70 round bales of straw back from another farm where we've been storing some straw. I didn't film that because we were going to someone else's property, and yeah, you don't film someone else's buildings and stuff. So just that was a day last week fetching them back. They're not a million miles away from the farm, and it's worked brilliantly for us this year because we've been able to get more straw under cover. So we brought some back. I'll just grab this bale down from here now. Drop that bale there. So this is where we've got our hay stored. It's in the same barn as the straw. You'll see where the line is there. So everything to the left of that is hay, and everything to the right is straw. It's a little bit awkward to actually get at these hay bales because somebody who will not be named, might have been me, put a rock attack in the way here, so I can literally just get through here. But one of the jobs I've got planned for today is I've got a new set of flails for the topper that's there. So fingers crossed, that is what I'm planning on doing a little bit later on. Getting that onto my tractor and getting the flails changed over and get that ready for work this summer. Though to be fair, with the price of fuel the way it is at the moment, can't get a price on kerosene. They won't price it. Diesel and petrol, as everyone will know, is going up through the roof. We all know the reasons. I'm not getting into them on here because I want you all to get away from the real world problems when you watch my videos. Henceforth, no more mentions of that. But Yeah, we're gonna have to sort of cut back a little bit on the jobs that we'd usually do, just because fuel is just so ridiculously priced. So yeah, anyway, let's get this bale of hay. There we go, hay bale, straw bale. This hay here, quality wise, probably about an 8 out of 10. It's not the 100% quality you'd expect. This is some hay made, well, it's more ryegrassy sort of hay. Obviously not really ideal for your horses and stuff like that. Also, the bales that I'm currently using, I think, are off that field there, which is some really nice grass. But the problem we had is that when we cut it, the grass was quite wet in the bottom. It had all gone down. It was really matty. It just took ages to make the hay on that field, and as a result, this is a little bit on the dustier side. So obviously, you know, it's not your A grade hay quality. Some of the other stuff in that barn is better because it was cut on less bulk of grass, so it made quicker, made in better conditions. But yeah, it's all sort of mixed up under the barn, so I'm not entirely sure which field which bale is from, but I think, not 100% sure, but I think this bale here is off that field there. So anyway, let's get these unpacked. Well, that speaks volumes. Dad's just nipped off to Wenlock to get some fixings. I think the plan is that Dad and Mark, once he's back, are going to be finishing off the troughing. So in between the buildings here, you'll see we've got the concrete down. We've got this troughing here on our grain store, and since that's been put up, it's always leaked. The people that put it up didn't do the best of jobs, but it used to empty down the far end of the shed, and ever since the shed's been up, it's literally just emptied onto the ground and gone down the field. I'm not going to say it goes into a drain because it didn't, but what we've done, spun it around so that now it can empty out onto the concrete. This concrete's always going to be clean, so it can go straight off the concrete, straight along here, and then down our drain. And another positive, the concreting we've done, all the water goes to one place, and that place is there. So the drain is working perfectly, exactly as we wanted. We haven't got anything running over the ends of the concrete or into the shed or anything. So the only places obviously where it doesn't run down that drain are at the front here where we've got our ramps, but then that goes onto that concrete and down another drain. Anyway, I'm gonna go and put the topper on and see what changing any flails is all about. Right, so we've got the topper on, and in here is all the old flails on it, and you'll see they're worn and taking a bit of battering. Over here we have got our new flails. A little bit of a different design. Backs look like they're reinforced on these, unlike these ones that are actually already on it. You'll just see the difference between the two, but they look the same flail. So we've got all new pins and everything to go on here, so we may as well make a start and get this end one out, which is going to be awkward because all of these we can put an impact gun on with a socket, whereas this one on this end we're going to have to use a spanner for. So we'll get that one off. Right, so we've got our first end flail out of here. Not too bad actually, just get a spanner on the other side, widen the nut out, and then just knock the pin out. It took a little bit to get that pin out of there. But you'll see now on the floor, there's our old flail there, and the new flail next to it. It's quite a bit actually worn off these flails when you see them side by side. And then also, there is a new pin. I mean, it's just a pin, but they do look slightly different. Slightly, but I think that's because of the way that one sits a little bit differently, because it's a bit more bulky on the back. So we'll get this flail whacked on and then crack on. So we got half of them changed now, and you'll see on this side are the new flails, and over this side are still the old ones. So I think I've changed like 15. I think there is 30 on the rotor, give or take a couple. But it's a pretty easy job. I would set the camera up to show me actually changing them, but there's nowhere really handy to put the camera because we're working just through this bit of a gap here. So you leave it to the imagination, but basically you wind that nut off of there, knock the pin out, flail drops out, new flail in, new pin, wind the nut on. The brilliant thing with these is they're slightly countersunk, so the heads actually sit in a hexagonal cutout in the holder for the flail, so you only have to put the impact driver on this side, and you don't have to have a spanner on the other side, so that just makes it a lot easier. So we'll get the rest of these changed, and that will be the job done. There we go. 1 box of old flails there, 2 boxes of new flails gone. And there is, oh, you can't see very well, but there is the new flails fitted to the topper. Nice job for this afternoon, well, for today actually, because as you'll see behind me, yeah, the weather today is, well, it ain't sunny, that's for sure. I thought it was actually going to come nice earlier on. The sun did come out for about 2 seconds and then it went back in. It's been like this since, but there you go. There's a nice job done for today. And just come here and spin you around. So you'll see, Dad and Mark have finished off doing this troughing on the side of this grain store today. So now that runs to this end, and there is the job completed. Well, not quite completed. You'll see the downspout is not quite finished yet. But that's basically the general idea. We've just put that there because, yeah, they just got fed up of working in the rain, so they'll finish that off, I presume, tomorrow if it's sunny. But that is me done for the day. Well, not really. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea now. And then it's just the milking to get done. But that's the topper, almost ready for action. Looking a little bit better, and hopefully cut the grass a little bit better than it was doing. So that does bring us to the end of today's video. Probably a little bit of a shorter one with lots of chatting and not a lot of work actually shown on camera. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment down below, head over to my Instagram, case.farms, which you can find here. And we'll catch you all in the next one.